Chapter 3. The Library. Kobe closed the door behind him, his grandmother's book in hand. He didn't turn back to see the dark two-story house as he walked away. Number 11 Rainbow Drive did not hold any good memories for Kobe. He only wanted to erase them. As he passed the letterbox and onto the street, a flash of movement caught his eye. "Good morning, young man," chirped Mr. White, peering up at Kobe from tending to his garden. Mr. White was a strange old man who lived by himself next door to Kobe and his grandmother, and always seemed happy, something that seemed so foreign to Kobe. He always wore white clothes, and had strange white-tinted sunglasses and short white hair to match. "Good morning," he replied, a little taken aback by Mr. White's appearance. "And what a fine morning it is," said Mr. White, taking in a big breath through his nose. "Makes you appreciate being alive. I'm just getting rid of some of these weeds here. Best to get them while they're little before they get too big. Isn't that like everything in life?" "Sure," Kobe replied, not listening to anything he was saying and only wanting to get away. "Are you getting yourself some morning exercise?" Mr. White inquired. "Good on you, Kobe. A brisk walk will get the mind and body ready for the day. If you win the morning, you win the day." I need to," said Kobe, moving away. Of course," said Mr. White, waving him away. "Don't let me keep you from your plans. I hope you have a great day, Kobe, whatever it is that you are doing. Go and have a virtuous day." Kobe turned and walked away, ignoring Mr. White's merry whistle as he returned to weeding his garden. "Stupid old man," said Kobe to himself. He couldn't believe someone could be so happy. "He must be self-medicating," he muttered to himself as he walked along the footpath, eyes downcast at the ground and kicking the rocks. The bridge of Jinder was only a short walk from Kobe's house, past the main street where the library was located. He could have ridden his bike to get there, but Jinder was such a small town, it highly warranted it. Plus, he didn't like moving his body all that much. If he had a car, it would have been a different story altogether, but Kobe could only dream of such things. He sighed and kept his head down as he walked past strangers' houses, ignoring the bright, sunny Friday morning. He turned and came to the main street of Jinder. From here, if he wanted to lift his eyes, he could see the library and the bridge at the far end. Instead, he moped his way along the main street, keeping his eyes downcast. He didn't want to see the looks of any of the people's faces. "Don't come any closer," said a gruff voice as he passed. Kobe kept his eyes down instead of seeing the owner of the electronics store standing in the doorway. He knew exactly what kind of expression he had on his face. "You shouldn't be allowed out," the owner called after him. "Not after what you did." Kobe hunched his shoulders, trying to make himself small. "What are you doing out here?" said a shrill voice of the news agency clerk in his ear. "You are banned from coming near here." "I'm banned from everywhere," replied Kobe quietly, moving to the edge of the footpath. "Does your grandmother know you're out? I'm going to tell her," she hissed. Kobe heard the sound of hurried footsteps. "Go on and tell her. I'll be dead soon anyway." As Kobe walked past the different stores, people yelled abuse and obscenities his way. He would have crossed the street if it wasn't for the fact he'd just hear yelling in his other ear. Kobe glanced at the bakery window to see a black and white photo of his own face with a big red heading and footer saying, "Do not admit." The same picture had been printed and hung in each and every store and building in Jinder, courtesy of his grandmother. Kobe moved in quickly and quietly as he could towards the library, trying to make himself not seen. "Well, well, well," said a voice, making Kobe's blood run cold. "If it isn't the freak." Kobe looked up into the cold, grey eyes of Ashlinda Dodd, the person he'd seen on the front page of the newspaper, the boy that made his life a misery. "What are you doing out here?" baited Ashley, his face broad and black hair dotted with bits of grey, barring Kobe's way. "Come to explode more computers or TVs?" "Those were accidents," said Kobe. "Can you let me pass, please?" he pleaded as Ashley moved to keep blocking his way. "Accidents, you say?" laughed Ashley, seeming to enjoy toying with him. "Those accidents seemed to nearly happen every week when we were in school together, didn't they? No wonder they asked me to be on the front page. They need all the money they can get for all the equipment you destroyed while we were there." "I didn't mean to," said Kobe quietly. "I didn't know what happened." "I don't know what happened," mocked Ashley in a crying voice. "It wasn't my fault. I heard voices calling my name. Why doesn't anyone believe me? He stiffened and snarled. You're a freak, Dumas. A freak who should be locked up and have the key thrown away. You've destroyed the tech inside each and every shop in town. No one wants you here. Go back home and don't dare show your face again. This is my town. I won't have freaks like you around ruining it. Kobe nodded and stared at the ground, holding back his tears. He thrust the book in his hand to show Ashley. There was a long silence, and seemed to go on forever. What do you want me to do with that? Said Ashley, confused. I'm returning it. That's why I'm outside, said Kobe in a rush. I'm just trying to return the library book. I'm just trying to return the library book, mocked Ashley. Whatever, freak. Take it back and go straight home. Don't show your face again, you hear me? Or we'll get reacquainted like we used to in school, he finished, cracking his knuckles. Understood, yes, thank you, stammered Kobe, quickly hurrying to get past. As Kobe went by, Ashley lunged forward suddenly, making Kobe jump to get out of the way, only to collide with the telephone pole, his face smacking into hard wood and sending him crashing to the ground. Ashley roared with laughter as pain erupted from Kobe's nose and mouth, tasting blood and seeing stars. Kobe slowly picked himself up to rise as the laughter continued, slowly dragging himself up, blood pouring from his nose. He could still hear Ashley as he approached the library, his mind frayed from the encounter with his high school bully. He felt his nose. Broken, he thought. It seared with pain at being touched, the blood running down his chin. Kobe gazed at the bridge at the end of town, his recent humiliation only fueling his desire to end his life. He marched towards the library, his will so strong to end his life he almost threw the book to the ground. My grandmother is so evil she'd probably haunt me in death for not returning it, said Kobe to himself, committing himself to do this one last thing before taking his life. He reached the return chute, catching the A4 piece of paper with his face upon the window, and stopped suddenly as he heard a British female voice inside his mind speak. He's going to do something big this time. Kobe glanced around him, trying to find the source, but only saw parked cars at the front of the library before he heard it again. There has to be a reason he's hosting it in such a shithole. I doubt it, replied an American voice inside Kobe's mind. Abe's not busting out anything major this time. Last year was big enough with the MindLink launch. As Kobe peered around, he came to where the sources were originating. There, inside the library, was a dwarf and an elf sitting at a table. Kobe wasn't shocked by the appearance of the pair, the dwarf being a young woman with long flowing auburn hair, piercing green eyes, and red leather armor that covered her stout frame, or the skinny blonde elf with pointed ears wearing a gold tunic and matching cape. It was that their mouths weren't moving. These bad boys replaced mobile phones practically overnight, said the elf in Kobe's mind as he tapped the side of his skinny head. He's going to dial it back this year. That's why he's brought the festival here. It makes sense that the lineup of bands are weaker than years previous. It's more low key. Kobe watched as the dwarf frowned and replied, I don't know about that. Why bring it here? The Prison Music Festival has been hosted in nearly every major city across the globe. This is the first time it's come to Australia, and it's the middle of fucking nowhere. Glastonbury is held on a farm. Coachella is in the desert, replied the elf in a matter-of-fact tone. Those don't count, snapped the dwarf. He never held a festival in the same place twice. There is something sketchy about this place. There's something here. The dwarf's green piercing eyes looked directly into Kobe's face. Realizing he'd been seen, Kobe ducked out of sight, his heart racing. Did you see that guy? Said the dwarf, alarmed. What guy? Said the elf. There was a fat weirdo with blood all over his face staring at me through the window, she said, making Kobe flush. Oh my god, really? Said the elf, alarmed. Maybe he's curious why a pretty dwarf is in the local library. We always get looks from weirdos before the festival starts, especially you. Don't remind me, shot back the dwarf. I really wish the dress code wasn't fantasy this year. I feel like I'm about to pop out of my armor, but I really want to be the best dressed. You always dress nice, said the elf. Plus I don't mind if you pop. Don't say another fucking word, Solomon, thundered the dwarf. Not another word. Kobe listened as the long silence grew. It went on so long Kobe thought they might have left, but he dared not see. Is there anything you want to do before the festival starts tomorrow night? Asked the elf gently. I doubt there's anything to do here, replied the dwarf hotly. I just want the whiteheads to see me. I better not have gotten dressed up in this uncomfortable outfit for nothing. If they're going to come anywhere, it'll be here, replied Solomon. I don't think there is anywhere else to go. As the elf and the dwarf debated location options, Kobe realized that someone was standing behind him as he crouched on the ground. He turned and saw a woman dressed entirely in white, her hair, her clothes, her shoes. She even had a white transparent veil over her face that gave her a ghostly appearance. "Hello," she said warmly, walking closer to where Kobe was. Hello," stammered Kobe, rising to his feet. "That's him," said the dwarf in his mind, "right next to the—" "Are you planning on going to the festival tomorrow night?" asked the woman in white cheerily to Kobe. "I, mumbled Kobe. "Is that the prison festival?" He remembered seeing the image in the newspaper. "Prison," corrected the woman with a giggle. "Though we had cops and robbers theme a few years back with a full-scale security prison. That was a hoot." "Will this be your first time attending?" "I don't think I'll be able to," said Kobe, glimpsing the bridge in the background. "Oh, didn't you get a ticket?" said the woman sympathetically. "No, I didn't," lied Kobe. "I just live around here and I didn't know about it until—" Kobe was cut off as the elf and the dwarf burst through the library door, pushing Kobe out the way to get in front of the woman in white. "You're a whitehead, aren't you?" gasped the dwarf. "Can we get backstage passes, please?" "Yeah, come on," said the elf. "Get a load of how good our costumes are." The woman in white surveyed them up and down. "You certainly put in the effort," she said evenly, "though I don't care for how you treat the locals who live around here." The trio turned to Kobe, who struggled to meet their gaze. "He's just a creep who stares at people through the windows," said the dwarf with venom. Kobe tried to respond, but he couldn't find the words. His cheeks flushed with embarrassment as he stared at the ground. "Charming ones you are," said the white woman. "What are your names?" "Ruby and Key," said the dwarf. "Solomon Lillen," answered the elf. "And what is your name?" asked the woman. It took Kobe a moment to realize she was speaking to him. "Me?" he responded. "Yes, you," she answered with a warm smile. My name is Kobe Dumas," he answered. "Well, Kobe Dumas, I'd like to offer you a backstage pass to the Prism Music Festival." "What?" shouted Ruby and Solomon in unison. "You can't give it to him. He's not even in costume," yelled Ruby. "I bet he doesn't even know what a backstage pass to the PMF even means," raged Solomon. The woman in right raised a gloved hand. "You know very well that the Prism Music Festival has zero tolerance for aggressive behavior. I'm more than happy to revoke your public access tickets if you wish to keep shouting." The elf and dwarf held their tongues, their faces turning to scowls as the woman turned back to Kobe. "Would you like to come to the festival, Kobe?" "I can't," he said, glancing up at the bridge. "You should give it to them instead." "Even if he is a freak, at least he's smart," Ruby said in Kobe's mind. "I'm not a freak," shouted Kobe, his frustration and anger boiling over as he lifted his eyes directly to look at Ruby. "I didn't say anything," replied Ruby, with a shocked expression on her face. "I heard you say it," said Kobe angrily. "You said, even if he is a freak, at least he's smart." You heard that?" said Ruby, her green eyes wide with disbelief. "We have a secure MindLink connection. There's no way you could have hacked into it," said Solomon. "I don't know what you're talking about, but I can hear what you're saying about me, so stop it," growled Kobe, unsure of where his confidence was coming from. The woman in white suddenly grabbed Kobe's hands, bringing his attention to her. "Can you hear what I'm thinking, Kobe?" she asked. "Mother, give us color," she said without speaking. "Mother, give us color," repeated Kobe aloud. "Oh my goddess," she said, letting him go. "It's you. It's really you." She brought forth a red lanyard and placed it in Kobe's hands. "This pass will get you into the festival and backstage," she said in a rush. Kobe glanced at the pass, which attached to it was a small red ring. "If you need any directions or help, simply use the ring," she continued. "It will guide you to where you need to go and any other information you need." "I can't go," Kobe said flatly. "I'm barely allowed out of the house as it is." The woman in white thought for a moment. "What if someone took you there?" she suggested. "Would that be allowed?" "Probably not. Why?" he answered, puzzled by the question. "You two," said the woman, wheeling around to the fantasy pair. "Can you take Kobe to the festival?" The elf and dwarf looked at each other. "You want us to babysit him?" asked Ruby. "Forget it," crossing her arms. "What if I gave you both backstage passes?" asked the woman. The pair suddenly sprang forward. "Of course!" exclaimed Solomon excitedly. "Absolutely we can get him there," agreed Ruby. "Can we have the passes now?" she asked expectantly. "Not until Kobe is backstage at the festival," said the woman flatly. I will make sure the passes are there for you once you arrive. Together, she finished with a stare. Together, began Ruby. Of course, finished Solomon with a nod. The woman in white forced a smile and turned back to Kobe. I would have taken you there myself, but we Whiteheads do not travel by traditional means. That leaves these two as my only option to getting you there, I'm afraid. She sighed and found her warm smile for him once more. Oh, before I go, she said, and reached forward and touched Kobe's broken nose. Kobe felt a crack as it got reset in place, his pain disappearing instantly. How did you do that? Kobe stammered. The festival starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We'll see you soon. She gave Kobe a wink and vanished from sight.